Welcome to the Protagonist Pub. My name is Tammy, and this is where characters gather. It is the last Monday of October, and I have about this much energy today. So if I'm not as peppy as I should be, I apologize, but we went to bed a little early last night, and as a result, Kalua got up and wanted to play in the middle of the night, and she'll be 3 in January. Could she please outgrow this? And she kept me up for probably 3 hours in the dead of night. So, yeah. Energy is low, and I did something I never do. I pre-set up my coffee pot last night for this morning, and there's not enough caffeine in this coffee. So, it's going to be a day. That being said, I did wake up to a beautiful surprise this morning. I hit 400 subscribers, and I'm humbled and blown away and grateful, and I'm still just floored that so many of you lovely people return video after video to hear me ramble about books and my love of books, and I am so blessed and so grateful. And if you were new here, please join us at book club. I hope you find something new to read. I hope I spark your interest in a genre or an author you've never heard of or you've been intimidated by. And, a lot of people are talking recently on my feed about being intimidated by books. And remember, you can read a book just like you can eat a bear. It's just one chapter at a time instead of one bite at a time. And nothing says you have to read a book in a month or 6 months. If it takes you however long it takes to read a book that intimidates you, but you get through it, congratulations. Even if it's the only book you read in that calendar year or however long it takes, then congratulations. Books shouldn't intimidate. They should be approached as a challenge to conquer. I mean, I have books that intimidate me, and I just, pick them up and start. Because in the end, if I don't like it, I DNF it. And usually I end up falling in love with it. So don't be intimidated by a book. It's just a chapter at a time. That's all it is. Even the big, old, thick, chunky ones. Speaking of big, old, thick, chunky ones, let's talk about what I read last week. Okay, Autumn in Sycamore Park. It is the first Monday in October when I'm filming this, and the last Monday in October when you're seeing this. So, Autumn by Sycamore Park by C.P. Ward was the October book club choice, and it was a clean... It's listed as a rom-com. I don't agree with that tag. I don't agree with the tag of romance either. It's probably best categorized as women's fiction. I think is a much more realistic tag. So we have our protagonist, Jennifer. She is 36. She is starting her life over. And she has a new teaching job at Brentwood Primary. And her life is a bit of a mess, and that's pretty obvious from the beginning, although you don't understand why. She left her long-term relationship with a man named Mark. You don't understand why. Her parents are very upset about it. She left her last teaching position where she was miserable, and She has zero self-confidence going into this teaching position. And thus sets up our story. I did not find Jennifer to be a likable character. But then again, I didn't really find any of the characters likable. It is a very short book. It is under 250 pages, which is well below where my brain is comfortable with book length being right now, which is 350 pages plus. There was just no room for character development. And Jennifer is she blames Mark for taking her away her sense of self and independence, and she takes no blame herself. I found her incredibly immature, incredibly irritating. The fact that, she hasn't come to terms with her past relationship, but by the conclusion of this very short novel, she's entering into a relationship with another man, starting to date. I found completely laughable. And it isn't because she likes who said new man is. His name is Tom, by the way. It's because of who he was, not necessarily who he is. You can write. C.P. Ward writes beautifully. The quality of the writing wasn't the problem. It was the incredibly short length and the lack of character work. I don't know how else to put it. The characters were incredibly superficial, incredibly shallow, no growth, no capacity for self-reflection. And, it wraps up very nicely, and they save the tree, and she has a handle on kids, and it's fine. But it's just a surface level skim of a novel that leaves no lasting impact. I'm not going to rush out and read the rest of the series like I was, interested in doing when we chose this one. I am probably not going to pick up anything else by her unless it is over 350 pages. It is possible to write a nice, feel-good, fluffy, story that has some depth to it. They don't have to be this surface-level skim, and that's just really what this reminded me of. A bird skimming the water looking for a fish it could hook. Best analogy I could have. And it wasn't memorable. I will, read it and forget it. So, how was your reading experience with it? Let me know in the comments down below. And now back to the rest of the week. I did finish a Lori Cass book last week in the Bookmobile Cat series. That was, picture of it is right here. I believe it's book 6 in the series. I have started the next one. I will listen to it today. I have a project downstairs I need to do today, so it's a great time to listen to a book. This one was thoroughly enjoyable. The situation that arose in the previous book is resolved in this book, and there's some character growth going on. There was another delightful mystery. There's a romance change. In other words, Minnie's life moves forward, and side characters' lives move forward, and there's character growth and personal growth, and this is just a very good, reliable, cozy mystery series. I think I have, so if I'm on book 7, I have book 8 and 9 are disappearing from Audible Plus on the 4th of November. So yeah, I need to finish those before the 4th of November. Okay. I realize that wasn't the greatest introduction to the series, but like I said, brain has very little capacity this morning, and y'all know I love a cozy. So a cozy about a library and a cat and a librarian, and it's perfection for me. Okay. What else did I read this week? I finished The Woman in White by Wilkie Collins. I still hate this cover. It has become even worse than it was before because it's now got, you probably can't see this. See that right there? That is just from my fingernail accidentally running across the bottom of the cover. Yeah. No more Penguin cloth bound books for me ever. I don't care if it's the best deal on a title I'm interested in. It's a no. The actual book itself. Oh, is it good? As you know, I have loved mysteries all of my life. I read a lot of them in the course of a year. And this is one I had never read. And I was blown away by the twist. I didn't see it coming, and it should have, because the breadcrumb was there from the very beginning. And I still didn't see the twist coming. And I was like, what? Wait, what? Whoa. And this was just a fantastic mystery. And the characters, the character depth, the atmosphere, the setup, the twists, the I don't want to say revenge, but the finale was just amazingly well done. Amazingly well done. So this was released in serialized form, and you can easily imagine readers just waiting with bated breath for the next installment. The story is that gripping, and it's that intense and that memorable and that impactful. And the fact that it's told in journal format makes this a much more intimate read than a, let's say, modern day, mystery novel. And the fact that it was this was written before easily accessible typewriters was a thing. So like most literature in the past, it was written by hand and without the use of spell check and grammar check and the ability to go back and continually edit and have it all make sense and flow. And it's still, this version is 626 pages of story, and that doesn't include his notes to turn it into a drama. And y'all, seriously, if you love mystery stories and you love intricate characters and characters that have backstories and motivations that unfold over the course of a mystery, please go find a copy of A Woman in White. I don't recommend this particular copy of A Woman in White, but if you can find one, pick it up. Don't be intimidated by its length. Don't be intimidated that it's Victorian literature. Don't be, hesitant that you're going to be unable to relate to the characters in the story. Because I promise you, you will totally be able to relate to the characters in this story. They have flaws and they have strengths, and the villain is villainous, and his buddy is equally, if not more so, villainous than he is. And oh, I absolutely loved this book. I absolutely love this book. I loved it so much that I had a book hangover when I finished it Saturday afternoon, and I couldn't read for the rest of the day. That's how much I loved this book. All right, next up, we have The Yard by Alex Grecian. This is the first book in, I don't remember what the name of the series is, and it's not in the book. And it doesn't say anywhere on the book. So I will put the name of the series down below. This is set in 1889 London, and obviously it concerns Scotland Yard. This is post failure to capture Jack the Ripper, and the murder squad at Scotland Yard is in disarray. They're overwhelmed. They've lost public support, and some nefarious person begins killing off detectives. And what you get in this first in the series is this incredibly atmospheric and suspenseful, well-plotted mystery with, some interludes, as they're called. There's 3 flashbacks in the book. And it is so amazingly well done and so representative of the behemoth London has become by this point in history. It is teeming with residents. The Industrial Revolution is beginning to hit. There's lots of smoke in the air. There's all the animal waste from, carriages and omnibuses and just wagons going through the city to, allow city life to continue. There's tenements filled with poor. There's workhouses, and all of that is a character in the book. And it is so well written that you can feel London as a character in and of itself. And this book was phenomenal. At times it had me sitting on the edge of my chair because were the good guys going to win? And more than once I was like, are the good guys going to win? Cannot wait to read the second one, which is sitting on my shelves somewhere, not with an easy reach. It is, I believe, Black Country, and there are 3 other released books in the series. They're very difficult to find. And the publisher hasn't released them on Kindle Unlimited yet. So I'm in the process of tracking them down. If you want a Victorian police procedural, I highly, highly recommend this book. It was absolutely fabulous. Okay, what else did I read? Well, last night, after I finished The Yard, I started An Indiscreet Princess by Georgie Ballock. And this is a novel about the fourth daughter of Queen Victoria and Prince Albert, Princess Louise. And it is the novelization of her life. Begins when she's 17, and every chapter or sub point in the chapter begins with a quote from the correspondence of Queen Victoria. And Victoria and Albert's youngest daughter was Princess Beatrice, nicknamed Baby by her mother. And she was 4 when Albert died, and Victoria designated her as her lifelong companion and really ties Beatrice to her for the rest of her life. And after Victoria's death, Beatrice begins to catalog and go through her mother's correspondence and journals and letters and begins to edit out the bad. And so we have this very sanitized, whitewashed version of Queen Victoria. She's commonly depicted as the, ever grieving grandmotherly figure of a nation. She ruled for a very long time, and it is a very, very whitewashed version of Victoria as a person. So much so that I need to find me an accurate, non-whitewashed version of Victoria's life in a biography, because some of the quotes in here from Victoria's own writings are horrific. I will read you one. She is writing to her daughter, whose name escapes me. She becomes the crown princess of Prussia. To you, dearest child, who have a husband and who have many relations your own age. I have none, or only those who are useless. This feeling of dreadful loneliness can never arise as it does with me, who see even my own children, one after another, have divided interests which make me no longer the chief object of their existence. That is just but one quote of Victoria's in here. And here's another, written to the same daughter. You will find that as children grow up, that as a rule, children are a bitter disappointment, their greatest object being to do precisely what their parents do not wish and have anxiously tried to prevent. Most extraordinary it is to see that the more care has been taken in every way, the less often succeeded. And when children have been less watched and less taken care of, the better they turn out. This is inexplicable and very annoying. Victoria was far from benevolent. Albert dies and something breaks in her psyche. I have no better way to describe it. She becomes a recluse. She treats all of her children abominably. She is a very selfish, bitter, controlling, miserable human being. And I'm only a third of the way through, maybe not even a third of the way through. And already Victoria is, I want to go back in time and, slap her upside the head and tell her that she needs help. point where I'm at, Albert has only been dead. Albert has been dead for 6 years. And she is still in perpetual mourning. And this goes on for another, 34 years? She doesn't light fires in the castles to keep them warm. She wants to control every aspect of her children's lives. Like, every aspect. So this book is focused on Princess Louise, who is the artistic child of Albert and Victoria. And she cannot wait to escape her mother's control, and she has no ability to do so right now at this point in the story. She needs her mother's permission to do everything. And, you know, she makes little acts of rebellion where she can, but when she is caught or tattled on by Beatrice to Victoria, you know, it isn't pretty. Victoria was a very disturbed woman. So I will undoubtedly finish the Indiscreet Princess this week. And I don't know what I'm going to read next. I do have a couple of things left on the October TBR. They're not really floating my interest boat right now. As of this morning, rain is expected later this week and cooler temperatures. We shall see. I don't know if I believe it yet. If that happens, I'm probably going to pick up a November book and just settle in and enjoy the weather and, you know, something new, something non-Victorian. I will say that I will probably start the book club choice Friday. I did not get the Discord up this weekend. I will do that today as I'm editing this video. And what'd you guys read last week? Anything good? Leave a comment down below, like and subscribe, and I will see you here next time at the Protagonist Pub.